Good evening, everybody. Stan, the Annuity Man. Greetings from Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, which is where I am based. But judging from the attendees, I think we have 40 to 45 different states online listening tonight. And I really appreciate everyone being here to go over one of the most controversial products on the planet, fixed index annuities. And most of you are probably shocked that I'm even doing this, but I think I have a unique look at these products and how they should be utilized in a portfolio and how you should look at them from the standpoint of, do you even need one? So a couple things before we get started. If you have questions, email me the questions, or within this, you can send a question. I'll answer them all, every single one of them. I don't care how many of you guys send them, ladies send them, send the questions. But I'm not going to answer them during the webinar. I'll answer them tonight and tomorrow, every single one of them. So we're just going to go through the webinar. I'm going to, and at the very end, I've got some action steps that you can take, etc. So fixed index annuities, the Annuity Man way. Let's get going. As you know, I am the top agent in the country, annuity agent in the country, independent. I represent most carriers you've heard of. Licensed in all 50 states. I've published 7 books, have an 8th one on the way, and I write for everybody. I'm a writer. It's cathartic. It's kind of like a, it's cheaper than therapy. So that's kind of what I do. I write about annuities, and I try to make the complex simple. My newest book is on this topic, index annuities, fixed index annuities. A lot of people call them index annuities. Initially, they were called equity index annuities, which they've changed for a good reason because they're not a market product. But that's the newest book. A lot of you on this call already have it. And if you don't, we're going to get you the book for free, no obligation, no cost. I've also written one on QLAC, which is another product, immediate annuities, which are called FIAs, multi-year guarantee annuities, which are fixed-rate annuities like CDs, also income riders, which can be attached to indexed annuities, and we'll talk about that as well, and also deferred income annuities called longevity annuities, which is in essence an immediate annuity, but you can defer it. The first book was the Annuity Stanifesto. It was kind of like my Unabomber font. You can see the face, and people always say, Stan, you're not smiling, you got this goatee, you're going through this midlife crisis. Hey, I've got 2 girls going to college, so you kind of understand. People got to nod their head out there. You know what I'm talking about. So I've got 7 books. So if you want me to send you the books for free, under no obligation, they'll come in a really nice gold bubble mailer package, like a Willy Wonka golden ticket. Email me at this email address, and I will send you those books. I will not call and bug you. You'll just get them in the mail, and they're very informative. They're quick reads. I strip down these products to the good, the bad, the ugly, the limitations, and the benefits. So please, if you don't have them or if you need additional copies, don't hesitate to email me. So if you know who I am, you know that I only talk about the contractual guarantees. So my saying is will do, not might do. You own annuities, any type of annuity, for what it will do, not what it might do, not some pie in the sky hypothetical or dream return scenario. You own the contract. Annuities are not investments. They are contracts. So you own the contractual guarantees. Okay? One of the things on my sites that I give away for free is what's called Comdex rankings. As we all know, there's 4 major rating services, AM Best, Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch. And Comdex rankings, you can go to my website and download for free this Comdex ranking. And by the way, go to my website. There's everything from, there's a steakhouse menu you see up there on the top right, which has a lot of my strategies. There's resources tabs with videos and all kinds of stuff. But for Comdex, the annuity company and the annuity guarantee is only good as their claims paying ability. So Comdex rankings, we update once a month. We update the Comdex rankings, and we give it away for free. And this is what it looks like. So you can see where they're based, the AM Best, S&P, Moody's, and Fitch. Now, none of us really know what A++ or A++, AAA, nobody knows what that is. Okay? So what I like about Comdex rankings is they say from 1 to 100, 100 being perfect, this is how we're going to rank them. So this is a 20-page report. You can see page 2 of 20. And you can see some of the ones that you're familiar with, New York Life and TIA-CREF and blah, 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 on the Convex ranking, 100, and they go all the way down. So when we talk about annuities, we talk about claims payability, and this is what we look at. So I look even deeper than just this. I look at the bond holdings and the solvency ratios and things like that because, again, annuities are only as good, their guarantees are only as good as the claims payability of that company. So that's free. With all annuity solutions, just some basics here before we jump into the index annuity. There's only 2 questions that you need to ask to even know if you need an annuity. The first one is, what do I want the money to contractually do? Underline, bold the word contractually. What do I want it to do? And the second question is, when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? That's it. Those are the only 2 questions you have to answer. And when you answer that, that's when I step in and I go, okay, let's go shop for the best annuity type based on those 2 answers. All right? The 4 places annuity fits into your portfolio is very basic. Legacy, income, long-term care, and safety. Legacy is it leaving money to beneficiaries. There are annuities out there that provide those type of guarantees, death benefit type guarantees when you can't qualify for life insurance. Then most annuity types were developed for income, lifetime income. Index annuities were not. Index annuities were developed for principal protection and a CD type return. But annuities, and the word annuity comes from the Latin word annua, A-N-N-U-A. So in the Roman times, they were giving their soldiers and their families immediate annuity pension type payouts. That's where annuities come from. Now, you can also buy annuities for long-term care and at the end of the day, safety. But notice with these 4 places, there isn't market growth. And people got to say, but Stan, we're talking about fixed index annuities. Isn't that a market growth product? Absolutely not. It's not. So let's talk about that and where it fits. So annuities are transfer risk. You're transferring the risk to the annuity company to do what you want the policy to do contractually. And the acronym I use is PIL. P stands for principal protection. I stands for income for life. L stands for legacy. And other L stands for long-term care. If you don't need to solve for these 4 things, one of these 4 things or one or more of these 4 things, guess what? You don't need an annuity. So the question is, where do FIAs fit? Fixed index annuities? They're under the principal protection mantra. Why? Because the F stands for fixed. It's a fixed annuity. You're not going to lose money if the markets go down, okay? So let's talk about the history of index annuities. They were introduced in 1995, long time ago. Keyport Life was one of the first carriers, if you remember that carrier, and they were introduced to compete with CD returns, not market returns. Okay, I understand that everyone you've talked to, and if you bought one, they sold it to you, they said stuff like market upside with no downside or market participation. That's not only wrong, it's borderline fraudulent. In fact, it is fraudulent. These products were designed to compete with CD returns, and as is a enhanced CD. It's a fixed annuity structure. So hopefully you're smart enough to know that if someone says you can get all the market upside with no downside, hopefully you're not that rube at the table, okay, that thinks they're getting the greatest deal since sliced bread. It doesn't work like that. Index annuities are life insurance products. They're issued by life insurance companies. To sell them, you have to have a life insurance license, not a securities license, and it is not a security. So the SEC and FINRA do not oversee sales of indexed annuities unless you work for a broker-dealer or a bank, etc. It's a life insurance salesperson can sell you an indexed annuity, which is, in a lot of cases, isn't a good thing because the bar is pretty low. But this is the one that pops the top of my head off. It's not a hybrid. A hybrid is a car. A hybrid is a plant. A hybrid, I saw the other day, can even be a mattress. But it's not an annuity. It's not an indexed annuity. And anybody out there that's using the word hybrid to try to sell indexed annuities are just trying to polish it up to make you think you're getting something that's unique and that adapts. No. So don't let that person use the word hybrid because you don't want to see the top of my head pop off. So here's why I hate how most index annuities are promoted and sold. I know you're saying, Stan, this is interesting. You're kind of going down the rabbit hole of why you don't like them. Yeah, but we've got to establish what's out there first. So here's why I hate most of them. They're the most overhyped and overpromised products on the planet. If you if you've seen some of the TV ads on cable TV, or some of the or the radio ads, or you might hear a radio show on a Saturday morning, maybe it's called Safe Money. I'm not putting those people down, but they're hyping market upside with no downside, market participation with no downside. That sounds too good to be true because it is, and unfortunately, they can get away, they meaning the promoters can get away with this. Hopefully the new Department of Labor fiduciary rule will reel some of this stuff in. Second reason I don't like them is people tout these upfront bonuses. Let me just tell you something. I want you to listen real close. There's no philanthropist at annuity companies. There's nobody at an annuity company saying, you know what, I want to give away money today. I want to give away money to the public because we are the best annuity company on the planet. No. Buying an annuity, an index annuity, primarily those are the ones that have these upfront bonuses. Buying an annuity for a bonus is like buying a car for the stereo system. It makes absolutely no sense. It's part of the overall contractual guarantee, but what we found is that a lot of times when you get these upfront bonuses, you know they're not for free. Instinctually, you know that. They're charging for it, and typically the contractual guarantees aren't as high. The other thing that drives me crazy is income riders. People call me all the time and say, Stan, I just bought an index annuity that guarantees me 7% or 6% or 5%, something very high that makes them think that Jimmy Carter's still in office. Income riders are attached benefits to indexed annuities and variable annuities, but primarily indexed annuities, that you can only use for income. You can't peel off that nice high interest. You can't transfer that amount. You can't get to the lump sum in any form or fashion. It's monopoly money. So if someone says, hey, I can get you a 10% bonus and a 7% yield, that's a lot. Income riders are not yield. It's a growth to the income account that is used solely for calculating that first payment when you turn on the income stream. That doesn't mean they're bad. I'm just trying to say, think realistically about 7% in these times, okay? There is no 7%. There's no genius at an insurance company that's figured out how to take a 2.5% or 2.6% 10-year treasury and turn it into 5, 6, or 7, okay? The other thing, doublers are not long-term care. A lot of these index annuities have enhancements to the income stream, okay, that agents call long-term care. It's not long-term care. Long-term care is a health care product. It comes with its own tax benefits, and there's not any indexed annuities with doublers that are long-term care. Typically, those are confinement care. And again, this really isn't that great of a benefit. It's not bad, but it's not great. Really what it means is when you get sicker, you get your money back quicker, okay? So when you get sicker, you get your money back quicker. That's a doubler, all right? The other thing, hybrids. We already talked about that. Don't let anybody get away with the hybrid pitch. That's a joke. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. If someone pitches you the product, what I always tell people, if it really sounds that good, write down exactly what that agent told you, sign and date it, and flip the page around and have that agent sign and date it. They will not sign and date it, okay, because they're just pitching the bullet points. And also, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have an indexed annuity and then income, and then that agent says, well, even though you're getting income, the growth from the indexed annuity is going to offset that income. That's just garbage. You're smarter than that. You either got to buy the annuity for principal protection and CD type returns, the indexed annuity, or you buy the rider, okay, period. So, but this is what drives me crazy, and this is what we're not going to do tonight. We're not going to look at any type of theoretical, hypothetical, back-tested, projected, non-guaranteed proposal, agent hopeful return nonsense, because those planets never align themselves. So to look backwards at those numbers, I think is a waste of time. Now, here's the funny part. When you email me and say, Stan, I'm interested in taking a look at these at a rational level, when I send you the information from the companies that I think are the best in your state, that are approved in your state, every single proposal is going to show back-tested numbers. Why? Because that's how they show them. But what I'm telling you is don't put an ounce of anything on those numbers. Don't try to analyze back-tested numbers when the 10-year treasury was at 4 or 4.5 or 3.5. All right, that's just ridiculous. What we're going to do is look at index annuities on how they work, and you're going to make your decision based upon those realistic return scenarios, based upon those contractual guarantees to see if it works for you. So we're not going to, most people I've seen that talk about index annuities, they go, well, listen, if you'd have owned it 10 years ago, this would have happened. That's garbage. We can all look back 10 years from now and make a good decision, right? So that don't allow that. I'm not going to show you that. So that's the other thing. But with that being said, I actually like them. I like index annuities if they're used properly, if they're placed properly and in proportion, and if you understand the good and the bad and the limitations. So here's my view on how they should be used. You use them for principal protection. In essence, an index annuity is a bridge, in my opinion, from the markets, like going from the stock market to going to just total safety. It's that product that's in between that. All right? It's not a market product. Don't let anybody tell you that it is, because it's not. It wasn't designed for that. You're not going to get those type of returns. It's not a boring old CD. It's in the middle. It's a bridge. It's going to get you a little bit better returns than a CD historically, because we know those range of returns. So that's the will do part of it. Stan, what will it do? It's going to give you principal protection with enhanced CD type returns. Beacon Research did a research on all index annuities going back, way back, and typically what they saw was about a 4% annual return, which that's rational, right? Could you get more if the planets align themselves 1 year? Yeah, sure you could. But if you say, Stan, I'm okay with bridging from the markets to full principal protection and a 4% type return scenario, then an index annuity might work for you. The way that I use index annuities is without riders. Now you say, Stan, but there might be some people on this call that say, Stan, I bought an index annuity with a rider. Yeah, because we were looking at income later. You said to me the two questions, remember, what do I want the money to contractually do and when do I want those contractual guarantees to start? Stan, I want income later. I want to control the asset, and I want the income to start 12 years from now. That's an income rider, okay? That's the guarantee. So if you're going to buy the income for later, buy income for later. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is index annuities without the rider. Because once you attach a rider, then there's fees going to be coming off of that accumulation value, which will reduce that 4%-ish every year, right, for the life of the policy. So I don't attach riders. So if you want a rider, then go shop for one. And then you, in addition to that, you shop for deferred income annuity, because those are the two ways to do income later. So I look at indexed annuities as a CD type return, enhanced CD, for tax deferred accumulation only. And I use them as ladders, 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, 9-year. On that type of ladder, the 3-year is a MIGA, is a fixed rate annuity. The 5-year could be actually a MIGA, but it could be an index annuity. And the 7 and 9 is an index. Or you could do a 5, 7, and 9. Or a mixed fix, which is, index annuities and the fixed rate annuities. That's very popular with my client base. And here's what sets me apart from every cat out there right now. Now, I hope that there's some agents on here that are watching this and that are listening, because this is serious. When we want income from an indexed annuity that you're not really sure that you want to do a rider attached to it, you don't want to eat into those gains from the income rider fee, then what I do is what's called FIA to SPIA. So indexed annuity, and then at the end of the contract, then we go shop for the best immediate annuity out there when you need income. And I think that's the best way to do it. You can transfer a 1035 transfer if it's non-qualified, non-IRA, or IRA to IRA, and you transfer the gains with it, and then you buy the highest immediate annuity payment. So remember, FIA to SPIA. I'm not saying you don't use index annuities for income, but if you're not sure you need income, don't attach the rider, because all that's going to do is create a lifetime fee off of that accumulation value. All right? So you can do this standalone, or you can ladder it. Standalone means hey, Stan, I want my money back in 7 years. I want a 7-year index annuity. Okay, great. Or you could say, let's split up the money and do a ladder. I'm a big fan of laddering these type of products, fixed rate, and mixing them. Fixed rate annuities, which are multi-year guarantee annuities, and index annuities. So a 3-year would be a multi-year guarantee annuity, and then a 5, 7, and 9 the 5 could either be a multi-year guarantee annuity or index, and then the 7 and the 9 are the indexed. Okay, so right now, 3-year multi-year guarantee annuity at the time of this recording is around 2%. You say, well, Stan, that's horrible. Check the 10-year Treasury. Get your expectations in line with reality. The 5-year, you could either do a 3% MIGA or a 5-year indexed annuity. And once again, Stan, 3%. That's not Jimmy Carter. No, Jimmy Carter is retired and building houses. Those rates are not coming back anytime soon. I don't care what Mama Yellen's doing and nicking away at 25 basis points here and there, okay? 7-year would be the indexed annuity, and then the 9-year or a 10-year, 10 years as far as I'll let you go, period, is indexed annuities without riders. So all of this would have no fees, no annual fees. And if you needed income, then we go shop for an immediate annuity at that time. So in a ladder situation, if you did a 3, 5, 7, 9, at the end of the 3-year, I'd say, okay, do you want me to mail you the check? Do you want to transfer it to another annuity and not incur any taxes via the 1035 rule? Or do you want me to go shop for an immediate annuity? And when you get the immediate annuity, there's no fees with that as well. Now, let's stop right there. Do I get paid a commission? Absolutely. It's paid out of the reserves of the company, but I do get paid. All right? So don't let any agent say that, there's no commission to you. We do get paid. I'm not a philanthropist. All right, so let's talk about FIA for income. The great part about this is the rider fees don't eat into the accumulation value. So let's just say, just for math, that your income rider grows at 7.2%. Remember, income rider is a tax benefit for income that you can only use to calculate the income stream. And that fee on that income rider is 1%. If you defer for 10 years and you turn on the income, that fee is increased to 2%. Why? Because the money's increased. 7.2% over 10 years, it doubles. So if you had $100,000, it turns into $200,000 at 1% fee. So go with me on this. If you need a rider, fine, buy the rider. I'm not saying they're bad, but if you're not sure, don't attach it because it's just going to eat into the gains. So pure tax-deferred compounding growth during that time period, and then we go shop for the best immediate annuity payouts. And the immediate annuity monsters that I represent are all those big companies that run the big ads, all the ones you've heard of, all the ones that are high on the Comdex rankings. Those are the people that play in the immediate annuity world, okay? So if it's an IRA, it's an IRA to IRA transfer. If it's a non-IRA, we do a 1035 transfer. By the way, 1035 is the IRS code that allows a non-taxable event transfer from one annuity to another. And, the good part about deferring, like doing a FIA to SPIA, is that if interest rates do rise, then at the time we turn on the income, meaning that we shop for the immediate annuity, we'd be locking in those higher rates as well, okay? So if you think that rates will rise in the future and you're not sure you want income but you might need it, then it's better to not attach the rider and then do, in my opinion, and then shop for immediate annuities. And with immediate annuities, that's an annuitized income stream. So all annuity income is a combination of return of principal and interest, okay, and mortality credits, but you're not going to pay taxes on that return of principal in a non-IRA setting. So what could happen is you could spread those gains out from the indexed annuity over your life expectancy if transferred to an immediate annuity. This sounds simple, but I'm just the only guy doing this. Why? Because it takes a grown-up to do this, and to buy it, because you have to say, I don't want the rider fees. I'm not sure, but let's go shop for an immediate annuity on the back end. I think this is the future on how indexed annuities will be used for income in the future. I do think riders do have their place if you want to know to the penny what the income stream is going to be in the future, but I think this is going to be a legitimate choice going forward. Okay, index annuities in my world, let's just kind of go over what I do from a filtering standpoint. I'm licensed in all 50 states. I got clients all over the place. I think most states are out there listening to me tonight. All I need from you is your age, your state of residence, how much money you're thinking about placing, because there are minimums with some of these products, and if it's a non-IRA or IRA. And then when do you want the money back? Stan, I don't want to lock it in farther than 7 years. Okay, great. I want my money back in 7 years, or I want to, shop for immediate annuity in 7 years. So when do you want the money back? Obviously, my filter personally is high Comdex rankings. We're going to only look at those real companies. I'm not going to attach income riders. If you say, Stan, I want income later, then that's a whole different conversation. Then we talk about income later, and I quote both income riders and deferred income annuities. But for this, no income riders. So no bonuses, no annual fees, and I look for companies that have good renewal rate histories. What that means is that index option choice inside the indexed annuity, when that matures, whether you buy a 1-year option or a product with a 3-year option, we choose companies that historically have been nice to the customer, have been nice to their clients, because there's a lot of bait and switch out there and a lot of tease rates. We don't do that. We follow these companies, and we make sure you're going to be with a company that's going to treat you right. And we strip everything down. If you look at this filter, what I'm doing is stripping everything down. no fees, and the best companies with the best renewal rates so you can have the maximum accumulation, okay? Let's talk about index call option choices, because the return scenarios on these is a call option. And a call option, in essence, the elevator speech is you're betting on if the market goes up in a specific year, okay? And it's typically from the contract anniversary date to when that specific option ends. Most of the index annuities out there have 1-year call options. So from contract anniversary date to contract anniversary date, all right? But there are some that have longer term options, like a 3-year option. There's even some with a 7-year, so you'd have to wait 7 years to lock in. Now, just like investing, what we've seen is the longer term options have performed better. That doesn't mean they're better. That just means, like anything, if you have a longer term view of any type of investments, you're going to do better. So, one of the things that we'll look at when you email me and say, hey, Stan, here's my age, here's the state, here's the IRA or non-IRA, here's the money, and here's how long I want to hold the money, I'm going to go shop for you both for 1 year and longer, and then we can have those conversations, and maybe it's a mix and match, okay? Also, too, when I put dart throw, there's a lot of index option choices, and there's no perfect answer to which one to choose. You've all heard of caps and spreads and point to point and all that stuff. We're not even going to go into that, because those are conversations that me and you have one-on-one to try to choose the right one for that first term. And also with indexed annuities, you also have a declared rate. To me and you, that means a fixed rate. They also say you don't have to do an index option. If you think the markets are going to go in the toilet during the next term, you can say, Stan, let's just put it in a declared rate. And a lot of the declared rates are 2% and 3% right now. So you can say, Stan, let's not do that this next year. Let's just do a declared rate. Let's keep our powder dry. And then the next year, we'll go get an option. Now, a lot of the things that are out there, most of the index options when they first came out were based on the S&P. And by the way, it's the S&P without dividends. Okay, and I know what you're saying, Stan, but that's 45% of the returns. Exactly. That's the reason you can't say market returns. It's an S&P without dividends, and there's a lot of now new proprietary indexes. There's probably anywhere from 35 to 40, however you want to count it, where the JP Morgans of the world and the Goldmans of the world and the Morgan Stanleys of the world have come up with these indices that might be a mix of global, domestic, whatever, that are also indexes that you can choose. I'm not saying either one is better than the other. What I'm saying is there are a lot of choices, okay? Now, the good part about index annuities, the gains lock in permanently and never to go backwards. That's a good thing, right? So you have principal protection, and whatever gains, typically those are enhanced CD type returns, they lock in permanently, which is good. So dividends are not included. So the other thing that stands out to me with reasons to consider is, once again, if the markets are scaring you a little bit, and don't buy things on fear, but if you say, you know what, with a portion of my money, I want to take that off the table, but I don't want to go all in a CD or money market or something like that. If you want to bridge without losing a penny, this might be what you want to do, okay? It's a bridge transition from the markets without it being a market product, and you can use it in a non-IRA account for tax deferral. Again, gains lock in permanently. There's no annual fees for the rider, but if you need a rider, it's a very efficient delivery system for that, okay? The other thing that I find interesting with indexed annuities, and, you can show these in back-tested numbers where people, I hate that, but let's talk conceptually a little bit about that. Let's just say you had a 1-year call option on an index annuity, and for that year, that S&P went in the toilet. Something happened globally, and it went in the toilet, and you didn't make any money that year. You made a zero, because that's the worst it can be on an index annuity option, right? But the next year, when you go buy the option for the next year, you're going to lock in at that low S&P level, which I think is a positive for indexed annuities, okay? Here's some limitations, because all products have limitations. It's not a stock market product. Please don't think it's even close to being it. It's not. They have high surrender charges. So if you said, Stan, I want I want my money back in 7 years, or I want my money back in 9 years, or I want my money back in 5 years. There's surrender charges if you want to get all of your money out. Now, typically, index annuities do have some liquidity provisions. Typically, it's 10% of the policy accumulation value on an annual basis that you can get out. But if you are struggling with, should I put my money in an index annuity because of liquidity, don't buy it. Okay, leave enough money in cash so you don't have to make that decision. One of the biggest mistakes I see out here is people put too much money in to an annuity. Don't do that. I mean, keep the powder dry. Again, this is a bridge product. Again, limitations. Dividends are not included in the index returns, period. Lifetime annual fees if you attach the rider. We talked about that. And that's the reason with what we're talking about here, which is a straight accumulation strategy. Notice I didn't say growth, because when someone says growth, you immediately go into the markets. It's an accumulation strategy, okay? And then the other limitations, the renewal pricing is at the carrier discretion, meaning they can set the caps and the spreads and the limitation on the upside without talking to me or you. That's the reason that we look for companies that historically have been nice to their clients. Here's the benefits. We'll go over them again. Full principal protection. Why? It's a fixed annuity. So if the markets go in the heck in a handbasket, even though it's not a market product, you have an index call option on that indice, S&P, whoever. If it goes down, you're not going to lose your money. All right, zero. Gains are locked in permanently. They grow and compound tax deferred, which is good, right, in a non-qualified type setting. No annual fees when you don't attach riders, which we're not going to unless you want income later. And index annuities have a known range of returns. And what I mean by that is the Beacon Research study, the fact that it's designed for CD returns or a little bit better than CD returns. We kind of know what the returns are going to be, regardless of the index annuity. And I know there's a lot of index annuity promoters out there and agents that say, well, historically, ours has done 7 and 9. And I'm telling you to please base your decision on CD type returns. Do not base your decisions on those high numbers. If they happen, we'll high five you. We'll give you all the credit, but it's not going to happen. It might happen occasionally, but it's not going to happen all the time. All right. And again, penalty-free liquidity choices, you can typically get out 10%. And if you get, a lot of them have provisions, if you get sick as a dog and you can't, you're getting ready to die, you can get your money out. Okay. But again, proportion and allocation. One thing is you can change the index strategy choice. A lot of these companies have multiple choices, and there's no good answer to which one to choose. We'll do the best we can with you making that decision based on as good of information as we can get. But you can change it. And so, for instance, if you have a product that has 1-year call options, we get to change it every contractual anniversary date. If you have a longer-term product, like there's one out there now that is a good product that has a 3-year lock-in, every 3 years you get to change that strategy or keep it the same. Here's the lock-in at lower levels. Remember I was talking about if the markets went down and the index went down, you get to that next year, that next lock-in term, you get to lock in at that lower level. I think that's important. I wouldn't equate that into dollar cost averaging, but it's as close as you're going to get to buying low in an index annuity world. Again, declared fixed rates are available. You don't have to do an index option choice. Most of them, I'm not saying all of them have a declared rate, but most of them do have a declared rate. And you can choose combinations. In other words, if they have 5 or 6 different index option choices, you could spread it amongst all of them, percentage-wise, as long as the percentage equals 100. So it's customizable. There's no perfect choice. I call it a dart throw, but we're going to really try to aim well for you during that contract time to get you the best enhanced returns possible. So again, no annual fees. No, we're not looking for upfront bonuses. If they have it, great. It's part of the contractual guarantee. But most of these that we're going to be finding for you that don't have the rider, that we're just doing for accumulation, will not have the bonus. We're not going to attach the riders unless you say, hey, Stan, I want income later, and then our conversation completely changes. There's no fees deducted from the gains, which is good. Trust me on that one. Commissions are billed in and paid from the company reserves. So, we are going to get paid. But I see commissions in the DOL, Department of Labor fiduciary world, going down, and that's okay. I really believe that, if there ever need a swamp needs to be drained, it's probably in the index annuity world, because these are good products that have been sold so improperly over such a long period of time that they've gotten a bad reputation. And I think that's sad. It's a net transaction to you. So if you put in 100, you're going to see 100. All right? So the FIA to SPIA, let's go back over that because this is important. If you need income at the time, you say, Stan, I want to hold the money for 7 years. At the end of the 7 years, I say, hey, I'm going to send you all of that money with the gains, or we can transfer it to another indexed or fixed rate annuity, or if you need income, we go shop the best immediate annuity carriers out there for the highest contractual guarantee because those are commodity type products. You annuitize, and you can annuitize period certain, life only, life with period certain. In other words, the insurance company doesn't have to keep the money. You can structure it to where they never keep a penny, and they're on the hook to pay you for life if you transfer it to an immediate annuity. And again, in a non-IRA setting, immediate annuities have an exclusion ratio. It means that a large part of your income stream is not taxable because that's the principal part coming out. If you have the same scenario with an income rider, that's taxed at last in, first out at ordinary income. They tax all the gains first. So with an exclusion ratio, with an immediate annuity and a non-IRA account, you spread those gains out over a life expectancy. I think that's pretty powerful. So again, non-taxable transfer from FIA to SPIA, and the cost basis transfers with it. All right. So we spread that tax liability. Now, IRA or non-IRA, people always say, Stan, should I put it in my Roth? My opinion, this is just me. The answer is yes, but I'd rather you use your Roth for really aggressive growth. Why? Because you've already paid taxes on it, right? Could you put it in there? Yeah, you could. Could you put an immediate annuity in a Roth? Yeah, you could. But I'd rather you go, that's where I want you to roll the dice overhand with a running start, okay, in your Roth if you have one. But IRAs and non-IRAs can hold indexed annuities, all right? And some indexed annuities are more RMD friendly than the others. So if you email me and say, Stan, I'm 73 and blah, 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 and we're going to find that indexed annuity that's RMD friendly for you, okay? So we will do that. You can set it up to where you own it, you and the spouse owns it, or a trust can own it. All right. So depending on your situation, it's all customizable. The beneficiaries, the people that are going to get the money when your Learjet hits the mountain, you can list those out at the time of you list them out at the time of application, but you can change them. If Johnny makes you mad or Joni makes you mad, then you can remove them as beneficiaries. It's not an irrevocable. It's revocable. All right. And the accumulation value, the way that we're looking at index annuities, which is as an accumulation vehicle and strategy, the accumulation value is the death benefit. So if you die when your Learjet hits the mountain, that index gain plus that principal you initially put in is the death benefit. Okay. Now, since we are one of the few, if not the only, licensed in all 50 states, we really don't meet face-to-face with clients because it's really not needed. We're looking at contractual guarantees. Everything we do is online or we do FedEx. Everything's fully secure and encrypted, okay? We have thousands of clients in just about every state, licensed in all states. And I've got a great staff that does that handles all of that. And I'm involved as well. So that's how it would work. Phone application process. A lot of these carriers are doing online apps now, but a lot of them we have to use FedEx. No information is ever shared or sold ever, 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 in full confidentiality, all right? So let's look at index annuity return expectations that are really in line with contractual realities. This is important because if you go to the Bad Chicken Dinner seminar or you look at the guy on TV that says, I can get your market upside with no downside, it sounds good and you want it to be true. You want people to tell you you're skinny, right? I mean, I want people to tell me I'm skinny and I'm good looking, but you saw my picture. It ain't happening. I mean, some guy said I looked like I was in Game of Thrones, which is if you don't know what that is, it's some medieval thing on HBO. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a midlife crisis. But the reality is I'm not good looking, right? The reality of index annuities, it's not a market product. So patience is required with this. If you buy it, I need you to be a grown-up. I don't need you to say, but Stan, could it get 8%? Could it get 7%? Could it get market return? It wasn't designed for that. Could a Honda win the Indy 500? The Honda that my daughter drives, maybe if all the other cars wrecked. But do not go into this with some pie-in-the-sky thing. Go into it saying, okay, this is a transition product. I don't want to lose any money. I want to look a little bit better than CD returns. I don't want to go all into CDs and make that transition. Then this is the product, okay? Have a long-term mindset. You can own it as part of a ladder, which I would recommend unless you just want to do a standalone. And the better than CD returns is the goal. So what's the goal of returns? 4% is the goal, right? If we do better than that, great. I'll give you all the credit. But here's the other thing. If the market's going to tank, if something happens globally, you're not going to lose any money. It's principal protected. Why? Because it's a fixed annuity, okay? So 0 is the worst case scenario. Full principal protection, and go into it knowing that if you get 0 for the duration of the policy, in other words, saying I want to hold it for 5 years, and we get 0 growth, you're going to get your money back. Now, a lot of these policies do have a minimum guarantee, which is really small, just in case there's a 0 across the board. But I need you to go into it understanding worst case scenario, understanding the will do of the product, all right? So lastly, and I just want to make a point here, it's not a security. It's not a stock. It's not attached to the stock market. It doesn't get you mutual fund returns. If you say to me, and remember the 2 questions, Stan, what do I want the money to contractually do, and when do I want those contractual guarantees to happen? If you say, Stan, I want market growth, don't buy an index annuity. If you say, Stan, and this is my favorite one that index annuity promoters use, reasonable rate of return. What in the heck is that? That means nothing. Give me a number. And if that number is 5, 6, 7, then you're dreaming. I don't care what. I know agents are out there going, Stan, you're wrong. No, I'm right. Because this is where the industry has earned its bad reputation. Index annuities are great products. They're fixed products. They're CD products, and they're going to get you a better return than a CD historically. So it's not a security. It's a life insurance product, okay? It's part of the fixed annuity family. Securities, which are the stocks and bonds and mutual funds and ETFs. And by the way, that's where I came from with Morgan Stanley and Dean Witter and Payne Weber and UBS. Did that for a long time. That's where real growth is. If you want real growth, that's where you go, okay? So look at it as enhanced CD. So return expectations need to be in line with the design of the product, right? Market upside with no downside sounds great. It's not true. And really, with the new DOL rule coming out, I believe that when agents use the word market or stock market, they are in violation unless they have the proper licensure to say that word. So if an indexed annuity guy is saying market upside with no downside, I think in the future he's going to get tapped on the shoulder by the regulators and say, you can't do that. But now that you know that they can't do that, don't allow them to do that, all right? And Beacon Research, again, 4% returns, right? So rational reasons to consider, we're kind of closing up here. The will do, full principal protection, no riders, gains lock in permanently, liquidity provisions, better than CD returns, and here's the key, full control of your money. Full control of your money. You're not losing control of it. The insurance company's not keeping it. If your Learjet hits the mountain, your beneficiaries get all of it. Okay? Full control of the money. So the considerations is let us, me and my staff, best staff in the world, by the way, find the best index annuities that are approved in your state. By the way, not all of them are approved in every state. That's the reason that we're not going, hey, this is the best one since sliced bread. Number one, I don't believe that. There is no best one, and we have to look for your state. You can use a standalone or ladder. You can mix fixed, which are indexed and MIGAs to combine. You can do ladders, whether it's a mixed fixed ladder or an indexed annuity ladder. You can customize it the way you want to customize, okay? So what are the next steps? Here are the next steps. If you don't have the book, email me your physical mailing address. Please don't just email me and say send it to me, because I can't. I'm going to ship it to you in a gold bubble foil mailer. You'll love it. Email me your physical mailing address if you don't have it. And then let me shop for the best index annuities for you. Be a grown-up. Be a grown-up and know that I'm not going to chase you. I'm going to have a professional conversation with you. I'm not going to pitch you. We're going to talk like grown-ups about this product, and you are going to make your decision. So all I need is your age, your state of residence, whether it's IRA or non-IRA money, and when you want the money. Okay? If you want to put how much money, that's fine. You could probably need to do ballpark. So your age, state of residence, IRA or non-IRA, how much it's going to be, and then when you want your money back. Stan, I think we're looking at a 7-year hold here. Okay, great. Or 5 or 9 or 10, whatever. And if you say 3, then we're at MIGAs, right? We're not doing index annuities because there's no index annuities at 3 years. So this is an important slide. You know, I encourage you to at least look at these products now that you know the rationality of how they were designed and the return expectations. You can also schedule a call with me. We'll send you a couple emails, and you can always schedule a call. It's typically 30 minutes, and it's not a sales pitch. I mean, we're going to have a grown-up conversation about these products and if they fit. And if they don't fit, I'll tell you, okay? No pressure, no pitches, etc. So let me shop for all of that. You can make your own decision on your own time frame. I wish my clients on this call could talk to you that aren't clients, because they would tell you that I do respect the decision and I respect the time frame. It's your money. You make your call. My job is to shop for the best products in your state based on your situation and the customization features you want, and provide all the information, upside, downside, limitations, and benefits, and then let you make your own decision, okay? We can handle all the paperwork from start to finish when we get to that point. So here's my contact information. If you have questions from tonight, email me those questions, and I will answer every single one of them, either tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, okay? But email me at Stan the Annuity Man. You can always call me. I do answer my own phones up to this point, and the reason is we sell contractual guarantees. We sell will do, not might do. So my clients understand what they're buying, okay? They understand that it's going to work this way, not some dream scenario. They're not buying fear and they're not buying hope. They're buying reality. So I really appreciate everybody coming tonight. We are going to do, by the way, we're going to do webinars every month from here on in, because I do want to start informing everybody on how these products truly work. They won't always be on indexed annuities, but this was the first foray because the book is out there. But I do need to get you that book. Again, email me your age, how long you want to hold the money, state of residence, IRA or non-IRA, and the amount of money. And we will shop and start sending you emails, PDFs, and explanations. And hopefully we can get on the phone together and call and talk about these products and if they make sense as an addition to your portfolio. With that, I wish you guys and gals the best. Thank you for joining.